Hi everyone, welcome back to my second episode on night vision. I got a new mic, so hopefully you guys appreciate the better sound quality. In this first episode, we're going to be taking a look at IR lasers. We've got civilian powered and full powered, as well as red dots for night vision shooting. We're going to take a look at why some of them work and why some of them don't work. Let's start by assuming you watched the first episode. So let's say you've got a PVS-14, a helmet to mount it on, and you're able to look through it. But now you want to actually shoot under night vision. Here's where the IR laser is really king. Nothing is easier than taking a laser beam, putting it on the target, and pulling the trigger. IR lasers are invisible to the naked eye, which means you can only see them under night vision. Here we've got a few examples of IR lasers. We've got the Crimson Trace Railmaster, the IR version. We've got a Russian PERST-3. We've got a Steiner DBAL-a3, and a PEC-15. So what's the main difference between a Crimson Trace Railmaster and a PEC-15? Well, not only is this a little bit more powerful, what you also have here is this is just a single laser, whereas a PEC-15 actually contains three different things. You've got a visible laser, you've got an IR laser, and an IR illuminator. The IR illuminator basically acts like a flashlight, but only for night vision. Alternatively, if you wanted to go with, say, just this Crimson Trace Railmaster and a flashlight with an IR head, that's also an option. So this is actually a Surefire Scout M600 with a KMR2 head. So I pull and twist it, it goes between white light, off, and IR. Let's break this down a little further. There's two levels of power, Class 3A, or civilian powered, and Class 3B, or full power. Class 3A lasers are anything lower than 5 milliwatts. So most of them are about 4.5 to 4.8. So here we can see aiming low and dual low. Class 3B lasers are anything higher than 5 milliwatts. So a PEC-15 is actually 45 milliwatts. So here we've got aiming low one more time, dual low again. Now you've got aiming high. Now you've got illuminator high. And lastly, dual high. There's a pretty huge difference there. So why would anyone use Class 3A if Class 3B is so much better? That's because of government regulations. The FDA classifies full power lasers as not eye safe. If you actually turn it up to high and were to say point it directly into your eyes, it could blind you. So that's why they can't be sold to the general public. To purchase them from a manufacturer, usually you have to have a police department letterhead or you have to be the military. However, there's still some ways that these come into civilian hands. Maybe a law enforcement agency sells off some of their old stock. Your other way, if you really want to get a full power laser, is buy something like a Russian PERST. You can literally order these, have them shipped overseas, and there's no regulations against it. So basically what the FDA is telling us is you can't buy from a known reputable American company, but you can go buy stuff from China or Russia that's full powered. So I can go buy this thing, which is going between that's low, and this is a full power green laser. So regardless of what power you have, if you've got something like a PEC-15, they have civilian versions of these, so they're the low powers, it's going to have controls similar to this. I'll list them on the screen right up here, but you're going to have aiming low, visible. Then you're going to have aiming low, IR, dual low, IR, aiming high, illuminator high, and dual high. You have to be familiar with your controls and be able to do it in the dark without looking at it. Otherwise, you'd have to be sitting there turning a flashlight on every single time you want to change the function of your laser. In order to effectively use a red dot with night vision, it has to have a low enough brightness to be night vision compatible. Since night vision amplifies light, a dot that you can see ends up being too bright. So it has to be almost invisible to the naked eye, otherwise it's like aiming with a huge halo like this. Personally, I can think of three different advantages to using a red dot. The first is that it's a lot cheaper than an IR laser. Second is that it also serves as either your main optic or a backup optic, so you've got a daylight optic on there. And then third, if you are using it at night and have to shoot, you're not giving away your position. Since when you use an IR laser, anyone with night vision can see that, whether they're friend or foe. You may have to change the setup of your red dot, however. Wearing a helmet, night vision, and still getting behind the rifle can be less than ideal, especially when kneeling and prone. Having the right red dot for the job is also really important. So either having a red dot that doesn't have a large housing or has a very large field of view by the reticle are almost necessities when shooting with a monocular under night vision. If you have a binocular, it's a little easier because one eye just has to see the dot and the other eye can do all the seeing. Optics I've found that work well are ones like an EOTech, a loop-holed LCO, or a loop-holed delta point. Ones I've found that don't work very well are things like 30mm tube red dots. Now this is a great optic, but the Aimpoint Comp M4S just has a very large housing around it. Same thing with, let's say, a Trijicon RMR versus a loop-holed delta point. The RMR has a much smaller window, whereas the delta point has not only a smaller housing around the glass, but it also is a larger glass window. In the end, IR lasers are really fun to just walk around in the woods with and light stuff up, and they're even more fun to shoot with. Red dots are great if you want a budget option, but you might want to pair them with at least an IR flashlight to light things up. If you guys stayed with me this far, listening to me ramble, thank you. I hope you learned something new. I hope you guys like the new mic. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like below. Comment any questions or anything like that. I'll check them all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.